I was putting this off this is all about AT&T, and I wasn't going to record this video. I just wasn't going to take the time. But since I switched over to AT&T, the fellow that came to me promised that it wouldn't be more than Metro, and I was paying about 130. And I asked him, "Are you sure that it's not going to change?" And he really, really promised and promised it. And I get my first bill after I switched over to them. It was about 400 and something dollars. Supposedly, there was some stuff that was going to be discounted, but didn't get discounted for the first month. Anyway, they carried that on for several months. It was it was highway robbery what they did, and I couldn't believe, and that was with me turning down all these offers for phones that would have compromised, or actually would have obligated me to stay with AT&T longer to avoid penalties. What I want to say is, do not, please do not switch over to AT&T. They're the worst company that could be out there as far as taking advantage of people. Not only was it a nightmare for the first 2 to 3 months, so many calls, so many trips to AT&T, and they wouldn't change it. They come up with some excuses. They kept charging me for my phone service that used to be around 130, again in the hundreds. So finally, about a year and a half or 2 years later, I get out of AT&T and I just go to Metro, and I'll go before my account is due to Metro. So there's no, you're paying in advance with AT&T. So I go to Metro, I switch all my phones to them before it expires from AT&T, and I'm done. Just like I was done when I switched from Metro to AT&T. Metro didn't ask me to pay them anything. I left them before the bill was due, and the phone was switched over. So now that I have my phone service switched over to Metro, again, prior to the amount being due, because you pay by month, and if you don't pay it, they disconnect you. So soon after, a few weeks after I switched my phones to Metro, AT&T sends me a bill as though I had remained with them, even though my phones are not with them, even though I left them and paid somewhere else. Even though I called them and said, "Look, I switched over." But anyway, there's no need to do anything else. They had my numbers were gone. They didn't have my number anymore. So here I am after calling them and explaining to them, and I have another. Here we go. I get this bill from AT&T saying that I have past due of 183, dated March 16th, which doesn't make sense because since March 10th, my phone wasn't even due till later than that. But since March 8th, I believe, before my phone was due, I switched all of these phone lines. So not only are they crooks, but when you try to leave AT&T, they will pull this on you, and they'll keep sending you a bill saying that you owe this money. And I am sure that it's talking about if you do not pay the balance owed, AT&T may refer your account to a third-party collector. This may result in negative reference on your company's credit score. So that I have a perfect credit score. I have a credit score that is 800 and I believe 30. And here I've had a perfect score. They're threatening to damage that. And this is really, this is what we call highway robbery and threats to intimidate people. And I'm sure a lot of people just pay them. And this is totally unfair and unjust. And I would like everyone to be careful to know ahead of time what they're going to get into. And I am going to make sure that if they try to ruin my credit, that I'll get a lawyer. I'll try to get maybe a lot of people to know about this, and maybe a class action lawsuit against AT&T would be would be the proper thing to stop them from doing this to a lot of people. So again, I'm going to post this on YouTube, and I'm going to hope that people see this and avoid being robbed by AT&T and having their credit damaged for money that they have no right to charge you for. Anyway, again, good luck to you, and if you haven't switched over, do not switch to AT&T. Thank you.